I recently got flown to Cairns through work to receive a high performance award. And it made me realize how important my tech setup is for balancing a full-time job in banking, fitness, travel, and content on the side. And not because gadgets instantly make you successful, but it removes the friction from your life to be able to get you that next step forward. So this is the tech that I genuinely use every single day, which helps me perform at a really high level. Now for work specifically, I use a Surface Pro laptop. And honestly, for banking and finance work, it's fantastic. Everything at work runs through Microsoft systems anyway, so having a Surface just integrates really cleanly into the whole environment. Outlook, Teams, calendars, tasks, everything just flows together properly. And honestly, when you're busy all day, little things like that matter way more than people realize. The less friction there is between systems, the easier it is to stay organized. I also run with two completely separate phones. I've got one iPhone purely for work and then another for personal use. And honestly, this has been one of the biggest game changers mentally. Being able to physically put the work phone down at the end of the day helps me properly switch off. Because when work and personal life are all on one device, it honestly feels like work never stops. Emails, Teams notifications, calls, messages, there's always something. Having separate devices creates separation mentally as well, and weirdly enough, recovering better actually makes me perform better in the office. And another massive thing for me is calendars. I separate my day into 15-minute increments from the beginning to the end. During the work week, I basically live in Outlook calendar. Everything goes in there. Meetings, client calls, follow-ups, travel, tasks. If it's not in my calendar, there's a good chance it honestly just doesn't happen. Then outside of work, I switch over to Google Calendar for my personal life. Gym, filming, travel plans, weekends, and honestly, separating work and personal calendars helps massively mentally. It stops everything from feeling just like a big giant blur. When I'm in the office, probably the best productivity tool I use is Microsoft To Do. And I know that sounds boring compared to all the tech gadgets, but this is genuinely the thing that keeps me organized day to day. The reason I use Microsoft To Do specifically is because my whole work system runs through Microsoft, so Outlook, flagged emails, calendars, tasks, everything just integrates perfectly. And instead of trying to remember everything mentally all day, I just dump everything into Microsoft To Do and it keeps me focused. I think people underestimate how much mental toll it takes to remember things. Once everything is inside a proper system, your brain feels way less cluttered. And honestly, that's probably one of the biggest productivity lessons I've learned. Motivation is unreliable, systems is how you stay consistent. Now I know everybody is talking about this, but the other thing that has changed the way I work is of course AI. And I don't mean in some weird AI is taking over the world type way, I mean genuinely practical day-to-day use. I use ChatGPT constantly, whether it's organizing ideas, helping structure content, summarizing information, brainstorming, or even helping me think through problems. It honestly became one of the most useful tools I use every day. At work, I use Microsoft Copilot. Obviously, everything just flows really well in a Microsoft ecosystem. Once AI is integrated directly into your workflow, it starts saving way more time than most people expect. Little things like summarizing meetings, organizing information, writing client emails, and helping structure tasks, it all adds up. And even in my Tesla, I use Grok AI all the time while driving.
I need to make 3 YouTube videos based on Apple's new CEO stepping in, replacing Tim Cook. Can you provide me some video ideas?
Here are 3 quick YouTube video ideas on John Turnus stepping in as Apple's new CEO.
And I honestly think we are only just starting to see how useful AI is going to be in our everyday life. Outside of work though, the biggest piece of tech I use is of course my MacBook Pro. And this thing basically runs my entire life outside the office. Editing, YouTube, planning, emails, travel, everything. The biggest thing for me isn't even performance, it's reliability. Battery life is ridiculous, it's fast, and it just works. And removing excuses is one of the biggest productivity hacks out there. But the biggest piece of tech that's probably changed my habits is the Whoop. I wear it 24/7. It's quietly tracking everything in the background without distracting me. And the biggest thing that changed for me wasn't even fitness, it was awareness. You start noticing bad sleep, stress, late nights, those bad meetings, and how that impacts your day overall. And after a while, you naturally just start making better decisions. Maybe moving that stressful meeting to the morning rather than the afternoon. And of course, we can't forget the small but mighty AirPod Pros. These things can cut out the distractions. The noise cancelling alone massively improves focus in the office. And when you're constantly moving between environments, those little convenience upgrades make a huge difference. And that's probably the biggest thing I've learned about productivity. Being a high performer isn't about a crazy life hack, it's about reducing friction. The easier your systems are, the easier it is to stay consistent. And that's what this tech genuinely helps me do. Not because gadgets magically make you successful, but because the right tools make it easier to focus, recover, stay organized, and consistently perform well. But I'm curious, what piece of tech actually helps you the most day to day? Because I genuinely think the best productivity tech is the stuff you don't even notice at all, but genuinely use every single day.